All right. Well, I will mute you all and we'll get started. All right. So whatever your comfortable seat is, have the intention of finding a long, tall spine. And then with eyes softening, take a moment to let yourself land here, utilizing your breath to help you find this place of awareness of your body in this space, the sensations that are present, awareness of what's going on in your mind. Let's come to our 3-part breath. Inhaling and expanding belly, ribs, and chest. Exhaling and contracting chest, ribs, belly. A couple more this way. Use a full inhale to expand your 3 parts. Use a longer, slower exhale to contract the 3 parts. One more breath. And then let this work with the breath go. Return to a natural breath. And bring hands to connect at heart center. As you lift with your chest, lift with your ribs, your collarbones, find more length. And then exhaling, bow toward your heart. Honoring yourself for showing up this morning for you, but also giving your neck a little bit of length here. Then softly letting your eyes open, release your hands down and start to lift up and back through your shoulders. And a little movement through your head and your neck. And you can think about any direction that would feel good. We're not going to spend a lot of time on our neck today. But whatever positioning, movement that your neck is calling out for. And then let your shoulder blades stay on your back. We'll do a little bit of spinal twisting. So inhale, reach arms up. Exhale, twist over to the left side. Inhale, longer and taller. Exhale, draw in through the ribs to twist. Inhale, reach arms up. And exhale, take your spinal twist to the right. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, engage the upper core to twist. Now inhale back to center, hands to your knees. And with your hands at your knees, take a moment to move through your spine, a little spinal twisting. As you spinal twist, not spinal twist, but as you take your cat and cow, notice where through your movement there's sensation, maybe a little stickiness, maybe that's through the pelvis, but really anywhere through the spine. Inhale, belly and heart forward. Exhale, round back. And then inhale, sit tall. And we're going to come forward onto hands and knees now. And as you come onto your hands and knees, we're going to do a couple of things from here to start to work through some of that sticky hip stuff. But we will also do just a little shoulder love as well. So from your tabletop, let's get into the shoulders first. So shoulder blade movement, set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips, and long straight arms. Inhale, draw shoulder blades toward each other, and exhale, move them apart. Inhale, chest move toward the ground. Exhale, chest lifts as your shoulder blades move apart. And now as you move a couple more times, just notice if that movement is coming from a cat and cow place, or if you're getting that shoulder blade movement in and out. One more big breath here. Stay puffed up through that space between your shoulder blades. And then we'll inhale, reach back with the right leg, turn open with the hip. Bend your knee for a moment, pressing your heel toward the left side. Tone your low belly. And then step right foot forward in between your hands. And if you want, you can be up on blocks here. But bump your back foot back as far as you need. Bump your back knee back as far as it's comfortable. And then work your hands to the inside and feel free to stay up high on blocks here. Or if your body is saying yes, maybe lower to a part of your block that isn't quite as high. Take a couple of deep breaths. And as you lift up with the front part of your right foot and turn open with your right knee, just take a moment to notice what sort of sensation is there. And then bring your knee and foot back to center. Your toes are still lifted here, so you're on your heel as your pivot point. As you bring your leg back into center, send your hips out to the right side. Hug your right knee in towards your right arm. And then bring your hips back into center and open the knee up. And then bring your foot back to center, knee back to center, set your foot down, extend your heart forward. And from this place, you choose, stay up high or work down onto your elbows. Take a big breath. If it feels okay to move a little side to side through the hips, you can. If it feels better to stay stationary, that's okay too. And then rise back up to your hands, and we're settling both knees back. And let's take hips back toward heels into a child's pose. You choose if your knees are wide or narrow, or what position your arms are in. Let your head come to settle. And then rising back up to your hands and knees, your tabletop position. Let's stack wrists under shoulders, knees under hips once again. And this time we'll take a little side to side movement through shoulders and hips. As you move right hip to right shoulder and left hip to left shoulder, lengthening each of your side bodies. Again, notice if there's a movement here that is giving you more sensation. And then back into center, reset yourself, and reach back with your left leg. Turn open with your hip, bend your knee, press your heel toward the right side. As you press through your heel, tone your belly. And now step left foot in between your hands, coming into that lunging position. And once again, you can be up high on blocks, you can be down low, that's your choice. Find the distance for yourself. You're going to tuck back toes and work your back knee as far back as your body is ready for. Might look different than the other side. Take a full breath. And then you're working hands to the inside and lifting up with the front part of your foot. Up onto your, lifting the front part of your foot up so you're on your heel as your pivot point. There we go. And then as you open the knee up, take a big breath. Extend your ribs and collarbones further forward. And then bring your knee back into center and be on your heel as your pivot point still, but then try to push your left hip out to the left. And then back into center. And you can set your foot down and then work down as low as your body would like, coming onto your elbows on blocks or the floor if you'd like. And then little movements here, side to side through the hips, if that feels okay. And then rise back up to your hands and settle back onto your hands and knees. And once again, set yourself up, wrists under shoulders, knees under hips. As you exhale and round upward through your spine, give a good push with your hands. Energetically lift through your rib cage, and then add a little bit of movement here again, side to side swaying through hips and shoulders. Then back to a neutral place, and we're going to step forward into our forward fold. You can do that by lifting hips up and back into a down dog if you'd like. Or you can do that from your hands and knees, but walk your feet forward, coming into your forward fold at the front of your mat. Feet are inner hip distance or wider, your choice. And then you can have blocks for hands here if you would like. And then pedal out with your knees as you extend your heart forward. Just give your hamstrings a little movement. Starting to tilt up with sitting bones. And then with sitting bones tilting up, knees evenly slightly bent, work your hands up your legs to rise all the way up to stand. And as you come up to stand, you get to choose what you are going to use for this hip stretch. So we'll do that piriformis stretch that we know and love. Sometimes we do it from standing, sometimes we do it from reclined. So you can pick a wall, you can use your blocks, you can use a table or a couch, chair, whatever you have. I'm going to use stacked blocks and turn sideways. So as you decide which variation you're going to choose, we're going to balance onto our left, just kidding, our right foot first. And then cross left ankle over right knee. And if you're using blocks, I shift myself over to the opposite direction. So we're balancing on right. I shift my right foot over toward the edge of my block on the left. Because then we're going to move our torso, and that just gives you a little space to work with. So cross left ankle over right knee. And then as you start to set your hips back, you can bring hands down to your props or to your chair or table, whatever you're using. And then press sitting bones back. Give your top foot, your left foot a flex, and then you're lifting left hip and knee to lean over to the right a little bit with your torso and push your left sitting bone out to the left. As you push it out to the left, how much you push it out might have to do with how much sensation you have. So think gentleness here. As you push it out to the left, also think of pressing it back toward the wall behind you. Take one more big breath here. And then bring your torso back to center. Set your foot down, walk your hands up your legs to rise back up. And then shift your top block over if you're using your block. Shift it over to the left. And then you're setting your left foot up to the right side of your blocks. And now crossing right ankle over left knee. Settle hips back, bring hands down to your prop, and push hips evenly back first. Full breath. Then lift with the right hip and the right knee. As you lean a little to the left with your torso, push your right sitting bone out right and back. Again, remember, gentleness with how far you try to stretch this muscle, especially if it's tender, then you're just going a little ways. If it's not as tender, maybe you're going further. It's just a little muscle, so Ultimately, you're not gonna go that far anyway. But big deep breath. And then come back to center, evenly push back with sitting bones. Set your right foot down and then walk your hands up your legs to rise up. And now let's get into the outer edges of our legs. I think we did this last week, but IT band tends to directly affect the SI joint. Well, that too, but the piriformis. So let's take left foot to the center of your mat. Right foot crosses behind, snugging your legs right up into each other. And then as you work your legs as straight as they can be without locking, push down with your big toe mounds. And now you will give your knees a little bend to help you hinge from the hips and fold. Bring your hands to blocks. You can always bring them lower if you would like to, if that works in your body. But before you think about going to the depth of your pose, push your big toe mounds down again, work your legs towards straight, and lift your sitting bones up. Take a big deep breath. And again, you choose, stay up high, maybe come down to elbows on your blocks, or move your blocks to a lower point for your hands. Whatever that looks like, strong and pressing through your big toes. Big lift of sitting bones. And then bring your hands back up to your thighs to work your way back upright. Uncross the legs. And then left leg comes to the center, right, no, just kidding, we just did that one. Right leg to the center, left leg behind. Okay, so now as you hug in with the muscles of your legs, push with your big toe mounds. And then as you start to hinge at the hips, you can begin a little knee bend. That little knee bend to unlock them helps you to take it out of the low back sometimes. So now hands on blocks if you want. Big toe mounds press down, sitting bones lift, legs work as straight as they can be without locking. As your sitting bones lift, then you can choose if you're going to come down lower or stay up higher, depending on how much movement upward your sitting bones have. Take a big breath. Big toe mounds push, sitting bones lift. Full big breath. And then back up with your hands to blocks, and then up to your knees, and work your way all the way up your legs to stand. Uncross your legs. And as you come to the front of your mat, feet are inner hip distance or wider. Think about how your body feels today. Inhale, stretch up overhead. Exhale, hinge from the hips and fold. Inhale and lengthen part way. Exhale and fold. And now plant hands and step back, hands and knees, and then settle hips back toward heels into a child's pose. As you take your child's pose, take a few moments to let your breath be long, slow, and deep. And then gently bring yourself back upright to your seat. And we're gonna come off to one side with our hips, legs out to the front, and we'll make our way onto our backs. And wherever that is for you, just be sure you have all the props you often like to have close by. And then from your back, let your head, shoulders, and hips settle for a moment. And now knees draw up close to your chest or close to your sides to rock a couple times and lengthen through your hips. Sitting bones walk forward. And then footprints to the ground. Take feet wider than your mat and take your knees from side to side. And as with anything, notice what sort of sensation is there, what sort of intensity, and take it to a gentle place. Choosing a little more ease for yourself here, because sometimes ease is what actually allows our body to settle and release. And now walk your feet back in and then cross right ankle over left knee and then lift your legs as close as you would like. And again, walk hips forward, a little rock to inch your sitting bones more toward the foot of your mat. From that place, as you give your feet a flex, if you would like to take that piriformis stretch one more time, then you're going to take your legs a little bit over to the left side so your right hip is a little lifted. And then reach the right hip out to the right and forward toward the foot of your mat. And now come back to center for your hips and release both feet down and cross left ankle over right knee. Lift your legs up towards your body. And then one more time, rock hips. Take your sitting bones a little further. Create that space through your low back. You can stay right here, or you can take that piriformis stretch, rocking legs a little over to the right, so your left hip is a little lifted. And then your left sitting bone reaches out to the left and forward. Again, toward the foot of your mat, not toward your face. And now back into center and set your feet down. And with both feet on the ground, give your pelvis a little tilt, a little up and down tilt, just gently. No need for big movements per se. And now you can let your knees drop in together to touch if you want. And the nice thing about this is that's actually the opposite direction of short for your piriformis. So that may or may not feel good, but that might be a good place to rest. So then we're going to take our arms into a hug or an eagle. So take your arms out to your cactus and root gently through your ribs. And then either cross left arm over right to give yourself a hug, or cross at your elbows to hold at the bottom of your palm. You choose. From that place, fill up that space between your shoulder blades with breath. And then take 3 circles in one direction with your elbows, and 3 in the other direction. And one more deep breath right here. And then let your arms go. And cross the other way. Right arm over left, or for a hug, or you can cross to take a hold of the bottom of your palm. Whichever one works. Doesn't have to look the same on each side. And then as you find that place, take some big breaths into that space between your shoulder blades. And then 3 little circles in one direction, 3 in the other direction. And then let your arms go. And now work your way into your most comfortable rest. Set yourself up. And that could be staying with knees bent and touching. That could be propping yourself. You decide how that looks, what feels best. And your Shavasana. Bring some awareness back to your breath. Then bring some gentle movement into your fingers, into your toes, maybe some wrist and ankle rotations. And when you're ready to, you can bend your knees and roll to your side. And use your arms to support yourself, to lift back upright to your seat. With your hands coming to connect at heart center, eyes opened or closed, your choice. Take another moment to let yourself fully breathe into your entire body. Have a very peaceful and beautiful rest of your day. Namaste. Thanks so much, everybody.